Hello, my name is Ismail Sneed, and here I will be taking you through my final presentation for photography or Art 250. To begin here, we have a couple ideas and a couple things to note before we get started. Art 250, the class we are taking now, known as also as photography, stimulates deeper thinking and further purpose for photography. This class was given weekly categories and purposeful picture taking to apply it in their own photography, and also learning and applying new principles. This semester was filled with new principles and things to learn to help our photography and to help us take more effective pictures. To start off, this is my best photo for composition or the rule of thirds. The photograph follows the rule of thirds by the use of the statue on top of the Grand Central Terminal Station in New York City. This statue is right on the left column, on the left side, which makes it follow the rule of thirds because it is right in that third division. Um, Depth is shown in this photo from the fog reflecting off of the light. So if the light isn't there, it's not showing that the fog is giving the photo another dimension. But more depth is provided in this photo through the show of the fog and the buildings themselves. And also, the sign that says MetLife, along with the top of the Chrysler building to the right, and the statue on top of the Grand Terminal Station, create sort of a triangle. So they form a relationship in the photo itself. Moving on to light. This photograph here is a candle that I had that kind of caught on fire for too long, but it did make for a really cool picture. And here, this photograph demonstrates hard light by the harsh shadow created at the bottom of the candle. The fire itself is the center of the light, so no sunlight or fixed light was needed because the fire was the light itself. And depth is shown from the light of the fire and the dimness of the background. The foreground is very light. The table is bright, except for the shadow part, obviously. But the background is a little more dim, so this gives the photo depth as well. The next photo we have here is a black and white photo. A photo that I took in Quincy Market in Boston, Massachusetts. Originally, the ceiling is a little more colored, a little more colorful, and the ceiling is a dome, although it appears 2D here and looks like just a circular ceiling. It is in fact a dome. The color stripped away brings out the lights instead of the ceiling. There are strip lights hanging on this, not the complete dome ceiling, but there are strings coming across, and the black and white reflecting off of the light, and the black and white dimming the colorness, the color of the dome ceiling evokes a stunning or stellar emotion out of the viewer. The light strips are also used as leading lines to the center of the dome, which is the circle piece or oval piece in the middle, which is where the needle usually is. And no strip lights means less depth and substance. If the lights weren't here in this photo, then it would look basically just like a 2D circular or oval background. But the lights added its depth to the photo. But also looking at the bottom two corners, where there's slight negative space, it does make the oval appear more 3D. So looking down at these two features at the bottom two of the negative space gives more depth to the photo as well. For the portrait, the subject in front of plain brick and smooth wall, which provides a degree of incongruity, which was asked on this assignment. Um, Less headspace was used with this photo versus my other photos of portrait. So less headspace, which makes for a better portrait, which was in the video we watched for that week of portrait. My subject is front and center for symmetry, but also slightly off put in the hallway to make a bit of asymmetry to make the picture a little more interesting. For perspective here, we have the New Jersey Institute of Technology's weight room on an away game trip. This photo represents a 1 point perspective to the continuation of the rack weights. So the ends of the rack weights, creates a focal point where the medicine balls are at the back. But a 3 point perspective can also be seen from the first rack to the right, because you can see the length, width, and height. Finally, the boxes also create a 1 point perspective. The boxes on the bottom by the Highlander logo also create a focal point along with the weight racks. So in conclusion, this class had taught us to learn to apply basics and principles to real life shots that we can use in our photography. Incorporated what we learned into our work, and also the use of the principles and focuses to continue and improve our photography is what this class is mainly about, is using and taking in new knowledge and new principles of information to further better our own picture taking, further better our own photography, and take better pictures. Thank you.